let's talk about these two things that will make your guitar solos so much better, and we can implement them right away. If you do not know, my name is Ryan Gunn. I've been helping guitar players for over 2 decades now really bridge the gap between their creative ideas and what they're able to play, getting out of this really boring, boxy, robotic pentatonic plateau that we all get stuck into. If you would, please hit the subscribe and bell notification to get more videos on how to make your guitar playing better. Now, the two things we're going to talk about, they are very much related, but it's going to be interesting rhythm and rhythmic phrasing, as well as dynamic, using our volume dynamic. We should already have a basic idea of phrasing. So we're not just... building a little bit of tension by now, a little bit of resolution. If you need a little help with your phrasing, I do have a video in the description that you can check out, and then come on back to this one. We're going to be talking about rhythm, and that idea where if I have a phrase, sort of that call and response, I really want to get into something more interesting and more lively within that phrase, right? So I have my phrasing vocabulary starting to form in this minor pentatonic, and I want to be able to say it in a more interesting way. What is going to happen is breaking out of the 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, right? All very predictable and all strong notes on strong beats, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now, when we're grouping everything into fours, either those 4 quarter notes, right, or I'm doing it in my eighth notes, so those 2 sets of 4 eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or the 4 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. If I'm not creating any space, it all sounds very monotonous, right, and very predictable. How we can get out of that, and where we find really awesome rhythmic phrases, is going to be strong notes on weak beats. It's going to happen on the E's and the U's primarily, but we don't need to worry about that. Because the first exercise, all you're going to do is put this metronome on. I have it on 85 BPM, okay? You're going to tap your foot. Some notes are going to happen on your foot tap, some aren't. But what you'll notice is you want to get your head bobbing and getting a groove. This isn't going to do it. That's not quite going to do it. We're still stuck in a very eighth note pattern. What is going to do it is going to be... It's because I'm putting an accent or strong notes on those weak beats. 1 E, right? Really quickly. Those ideas. That's what's going to give us a really cool staccato groove sound. Just doing it with one note is fine. So what we want to do is just develop the rhythmic vocabulary. Don't worry about note choice yet. When you do that, you get used to feeling that, right, in the rhythm and not just... stuff. It's going to come through in your playing, you know. And the more you focus on it, I mean, you could put that on, make it go a little bit faster, BPMs faster, BPMs faster. How cool can you get? How can you repeat? Making sure that you are repeating so that memorable rhythmic phrase is stuck in your head and you can do it again and you can do it again, right? You want to really rely on that. So the more you do that, it's just going to make its way into your playing. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Because let's just say you had something, right, and you were going to go solo. You don't necessarily want this staccato and sort of jerky kind of sound with that syncopation, with a staccato and syncopation. We want to use that for the exercise because... right, we can really hear where those accents are. When I'm in my solos, if I'm in this pentatonic, do I really want to be doing... It's going to get a little like, all right, I need to glue it together. So this is where the second part comes in. Once you get really comfortable with this idea of more interesting phrases, we want to be able to glue it together. The accents are going to stay but we're going to use a volume jump to get those accents and glue it together with a lower volume. So now we're messing with dynamic and not just the note. So just for example, that rhythm that I was playing, or something close to it at least, right, was cool. If I were to put that in a 16th note alternate picking pattern, right, I can feel it in there and I'm gluing everything together. So we're just going to take what we're playing, and if you want to, record yourself playing something interesting, staccato, one note, right, and then just go to an alternate picking. And try to get those jumps while gluing it together in a 16th note pattern. I promise you'll be able to hear that, right? You'll know where those rhythms are. If you need practice, just go through it and see if you can match it. Record it and play it back, on your laptop, on your phone, or whatever, and see if you can match it with the 16th notes. It's really, really effective. So what we have now is in this dynamic, in this volume dynamic, if I have something like, cool, right? All right, it's swung a little bit, but if I really use that volume jump, it gives me much more bounce, in that solo. It keeps it interesting without creating space. Why this becomes mostly effective, I'm just seeing somebody over here working out in the yard. Why this creates, this is such a funny visual, but it creates such a three-dimensional view of what we're doing, is we don't have to say like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then it doesn't have to be staccato, space, syncopation, same volume, heightened volume, right? And then, okay, now I'm going to go glue it all together with this sort of like a sort of a bop kind of movement to it, but at least I'm going to glue it together with that sort of pattern. You could do all of this at the same time, right? And I know that we're talking about this being like the two main components. The cool thing is when you combine the two, it ends up sort of being endless, right? So you have some staccato, you have some not staccato, not necessarily legato, but you could throw some legato lines in there, right, if you want to, in your blues scale or whatever it is that you're playing. So staccato, legato, or at least just notes that are going into the next note, volume dynamic, and space with interesting accents. We have so much to work with. And that's really going to bring a solo out to life. Just this. If I just play... I'm getting nothing, okay? And I'm not going to play anything too confusing or interesting, but if I do... I'm just staying in that blues scale, purposefully going just like in one direction and in the other direction, right? Not really trying to come up with anything too interesting. The same idea, this blues scale that's just going in one direction and back and forth and not really creating motif, still has that much life to it. When we can take this, bring it in to our emotional arc vocabulary, this is like endless, So if you have that... Right, there's so much life that happens navigating in and out of these concepts. You're really taking it into right, that emotional arc, that tension, bring it back to the resolution. This idea, we're talking about music as a language. The guitar is just the voice that we're singing or speaking that language through. What this does is it gives us the lines, right? Almost like a script. And now we're able to say it in so many different ways. You can imagine someone speaking and stopping, right, after certain phrases, right? That's staccato. That changes things. What if they're staccato, right? Right, staccato, interesting rhythms, right? Interesting accents, but breathing room, but low volume. Cool. What if they're staccato, interesting rhythms in high volume? Right, that's going to start bringing those out. Right, now that means something different. You know, what if it's all really, really glued together and nice and flowy with that dynamic? And then you change that volume dynamic and the note length at the end. All of this can be played with. That even that phrase, if I ended it that way, one note longer, and then on the offbeats, staccato and loud. Right? There's so many things that we can do here. So I'm arming you with a lot, right? If you need help, we have the rhythmic exercise, and just doing that over and over and over, and upping the BPM and making sure that you're repeating whatever it is. Repeat it. Play another one. Right, and repeat. Just constantly play, repeat, okay? That's how it's going to get better. If you need an exercise to help with volume, just your alternate picking. Go as quietly as you can, and then play hard down, light up. Right? Trying not to get a hammer on or a pull off. And then same thing, light down, hard up. Because our goal is to be able to move in and out really quickly. That's how we get that sort of bounce. Try all of this. This is all going to really, really sharpen your playing. If you are stuck in that robotic, sort of boring pentatonic plateau that we all get stuck into, and you really want to bridge the gap between your creative ideas and what you're able to play, becoming fully fretboard fluent, you can comment pro below. Or if you feel like you're ready for our Fretboard Fluency Mentorship Program, you can book a free call. That link is in the description as well, and the first comment. If you want to have a free consultation call to see if you're right. And there's also a free training in the description, right? 3 steps to full fretboard fluency that you're able to check out for absolutely no charge. Thank you for staying until the end, and I will see you in the next video.